tuned into Tampa Bay's RBLR Sports.
Hi, hello, how are you doing? My name is Liz, and this is JD, special guest of the pod, or special to the pod, excuse me. Damn it.
Yeah.
And I used my one already.
Well, you know.
We're starting off,
This is why we're special to the pod.
Yeah.
No one does it like us.
I had that planned, and then I messed it up.
It was in the first 30 seconds, but we're not going to start over. Why would we bother doing that?
You got Fortnite to play.
Oh, I do have Fortnite to play. Hey, Liz. This is quite a different feeling that I have starting this episode than starting the last episode.
It is unprecedented.
Truly this year, it certainly is.
Yeah.
I mean, just the swing of team performance, emotion, playoff chances like 45 times higher according to Ryan's math. Like everything is multitudes different, which is crazy.
You know what's the biggest difference?
That you're wearing
We're
sunglasses?
not last.
Oh.
We're not last.
And again,
sorry, I was very excited. I was screaming, "We're number 8. We're number 8," like a bunch last night.
I mean, I think I said it last episode, but it's more like it's really good that Fort Lauderdale's last. It doesn't really matter. I mean, you know, I'm glad we're not last. That's important to me. I love my team, but like I hate Fort Lauderdale. So them being last really is just hidden for me. And it doesn't look. I don't see them getting off the bottom. I mean, Brooklyn beat us. I don't rate Brooklyn extremely highly. In the grand scheme of things, and I think they will stay ahead of Fort Lauderdale. So I don't really see a way for Fort Lauderdale to even get off the bottom, which is nice. It's pretty
Warms
nice.
the heart.
Yeah. And we just have a shit ton to get to. So
yeah, we have 2 games because we did not plan in advance to cover the Thursday game before the Tuesday game.
Before the Sunday game coming up next.
Yeah.
Don't they know Saturday's the best day for everybody?
Yeah.
When are we going to play on Saturday again? In like 2 weeks.
But I have my sun-colored glasses on, and we're going to win the championship again. We're going to do it back to back, baby.
Hell yeah. Who's to say at this point? Who's to say that we can't do it? We're recapping. Ella Zinkin did a nice write-up profile in the Tampa Bay Times about City Nacello. So shout out Ella. That's where the special to the Times tag that Liz was joking with comes from. When Ella's byline is credited in the Tampa Bay Times, she's special to the Times. I assume the article is a special to the Times, almost like an exclusive, but it's just nice that they call her special in their byline. So Liz and I were advocating
special to the pod.
Yeah, we were advocating that we are called special to the pod now. But yeah, Ella is pretty much the only other like media reporter who covers these stories from like a human level, interviews players, is at the games. We talk to Ella a lot, so it's just nice that her articles get published, and it's a pretty big publication. So I want to shout that out. And if you have a subscription over there, check it out. And if you don't have a subscription, see if you can get a trial for one or subscribe and support them, because they are doing some local media coverage of the team we love. So
you said one of not many. It's just her.
Well, and us.
Her and us. It's her and us in the locker room at the end.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah. So shout out to Ella. We played some games, Liz. We're going to go through them in chronological order. And the first one that we played was on March 26th, last Thursday, against DC. And I will contextualize that. I realized I was like pitching to you, and then I realized the first note is something I wanted to read. As of kickoff, DC was in 5th place, so 1 spot out of the playoffs. That's the top 4 on 26 points. So going into that game with a win, they could have gone level with Dallas on points, but Dallas goal differential is terrible. It's like -8. So DC actually would have been in the playoff positions with a win against us. We did not let that happen. As you know,
Both of these games were giving call an ambulance, but not for me.
Not for me. They're the games we need to win. I mean, I talked about it a little earlier in the season. Like, we're going to have to pass all these teams eventually if we do think we can make the playoffs. These are the games that matters. And the Sun were in 9th at the time. Such ancient history. Couldn't imagine being in 9th this late in the season. Not something the Sun are familiar with. We were on 15 points at the time. So, DC going into that game theoretically wanted it. They definitely had great exterior motivation to get a win against the schlubby bottom of the table team, the scrappy team from Tampa, whatever you want to call us.
The meowing kitty.
Yes, Felix hollering.
Sorry. So DC's never beat us. Now, historically, quite terrible. Last year, it was like them and Lexington just race for the bottom. But they have turned the team around quite a bit. They added Paige Almendares, who played for us last year. They did add a handful of players, and they really stepped up their game this year. But they've never beat us. We've tied or we've beat them. And they've only ever scored 1 goal, which was the last time we played them in all our previous meetings. So we've kept them actually shut out for up until recent history.
That's how you can tell they've improved, is they scored 1 goal against us last time we played.
So bit of a different lineup. I like it. I like it a lot, actually. I like it so, and DSB liked it so much she did it twice. Hendricks does not get the start, which I think was the right choice. Henny had a rough game last game, and I think maybe the turnaround was a lot. So we have Nacello, Weber, and Picorni up top. We have Listro and Gaillard as our attacking mids. So Gaillard is finally in her chosen spot, where she's supposed to be. We've been Crystal Dunning her forever, and I hate it. And then we had McNeil, Chisholm, Bissett, and Dory Haugen on our back line. Oh, and Provo right in the middle. I just went right past her. I'm so sorry. So Provo is our like center midfielder, and then McNeil, Chisholm, Bissett, Haugen, and of Wagner in goal, of course. On the bench, we had Giamona, Brooke Hendricks, Maddie Parsons, Peyton Parsons, Jilly Shimkin, Zaid, and Sydney Schneider.
Yeah. I thought this lineup seemed very intentional. We talked about confusion in the forward midfield in the past, and we've talked about not having necessarily great like passing options if it's as the defenders like move forward, as Haugen and McNeil move up the wings. I feel like they didn't have a lot of options in front of them because everyone wanted to be in the middle, in the front, in the middle. So I think Gaillard and Picorni specifically are players who are willing to play wider when they need to, because Nacello always wants to come to where the ball is, and that's often in the middle. She's not right out to the edge of the pitch. Zaid is our only player that plays right up the touchline every time. So Picorni and Gaillard coming in, Picorni coming in and Gaillard being in her chosen position, like you said, I think made that system feel more clear. And in these 2 games that we used this lineup, it felt more fluid. It felt like we were being more intentional with where the players were finding the space to get the passes through. So we had 2 like really, really nice diamonds going on. We had like the Provo Chisholm Bissett diamond, and then Provo Listro Weber Gaillard. It was nice. I think it worked really well. I know it worked really well. Yeah. We have tons of evidence we're about to immediately get through. So let's get into the game.
First and foremost, Danielle Chesky was reffing this match. She was very Chesky about it.
The 2025 Super League Referee of the Year, Danielle Chesky. Controversially.
All right. For those who don't know Danielle Chesky, she's notorious in the NWSL and basically just in reffing in general, but she does NWSL the most. And she just likes to talk. She really, really likes talking to players. And then also has everything goes at her pace. So multiple times. I didn't point them. I had them in my notes, but I didn't put them in our like game notes. But multiple times she would like call a ball back that someone tried to do like a quick corner or like a quick set piece. No, we take our time. So that's the kind of rough Chesky is.
Yeah, you don't like being visited by a celebrity, Liz? Come on, for the wrong reasons. So right off the bat in this game against DC from kickoff, the Sun came out ready to play. They looked very intentional, progressive. Definitely the system was established from the opening. And I think that this lineup change, like those things reinforce each other. The lineup change was because they were going for a specific idea, and that idea was immediately like implemented off kickoff. So it was very different from the game against Brooklyn, where it felt like there was a lot more just like get out there, play your zone, play your position, and do what you can. And there wasn't clear, like you were saying, passing triangles, flow. And from the outset of this game, we had that flow. So in the 10th minute, Weber gets a shot on goal. She gets the ball at the very edge of the 18-yard box, and she takes like a step, a touch and a step forward, and she puts a shot on frame. Gottschalk saved it, and it goes out for a corner. This was just part of that. I don't even remember us having a quality chance against Brooklyn, like of that quality, and this was in the 10th minute of this game. So we started really strong. You're not going to believe what happens next. Off of the corner, Picorni and Nasello do kind of a 1-2 routine with each other, a give and go. Nasello, of course, has to throw in a no-look pass to get the ball to Picorni right outside of the box. And Picorni crosses across, and it's just badly cleared by the DC defender, and it kind of bounces up to Weber right on the edge of the D, or in the D. And she takes like one touch to kick the ball kind of up to herself and just volleys it with her right foot across, and the Sun score the first goal of the game in the 10th minute. Crazy that we're here because we didn't score in the last two games. And immediately we looked miles better. It was a great goal from Weber. She took her time. This is one thing that I really like when a striker does, is if they have the space, take the time. I know getting the shot off is something that they want to do. You want to be able to take advantage of any area you have. You don't know everyone around you. She was free. She was completely left alone. Yeah, they did attempt to like step to her, but they were too far away in defense. And she just kind of loops it right over the defensive line. And it's not a banger. It's not the hardest hit, but it's like a banger in placement. It was just right on the opposite post. Keeper, I don't even think Gottschalk moved. If she did, she like took a step over and then her head went down because she was disappointed. It was truly just a beautiful finish. Faith Weber, first professional goal, first goal for the Sun, right? So was that her first goal? Was that not her first goal?
I thought she scored in her first game. No, it was just her debut. Okay, never mind. Sorry.
So Weber, first professional goal. I was pretty sure it was her first. And she's been really impressive. So I'm glad that she got that. She had been coming into games when she first got signed in like the 70th, 80th minute to be like fresh legs at the end of the game. And she did have opportunities. She definitely was trying. So, she's been building into the team, and now she's getting the starts a couple in a row, and this one was totally earned. She's totally earned that from her work rate alone. The goal was coming for her, so that was a really great to see and give confidence right off the bat. And I think what helped even more was a couple minutes later, basically on the kickoff after the goal, DC takes the ball upfield. They pressed forward with a couple of really well-worked passes. DC was moving the ball, and we were absorbing the pressure. Our defensive positioning is really good here, though. And so Chisholm deflects the shot. Provo clears it. We're so locked in. And the eventual header that DC gets off, this is DC pressing into the box. They're trying to respond immediately to us scoring a goal. And the eventual header that they get off, Listra's fully covering. It's not a free header. And she's the attacking player is not able to get it on frame. It just goes over the bar. So that was just another like reassurance. It's like, not only did we get the goal and we took the lead, but immediately DC's trying to come back on us, and we totally shut them down. And that's something that's pretty continual. DC has the majority of the possession through the first like 20 minutes of the game, but the Sun absorbed the pressure really well, and our defensive shape is holding, and they've only gotten one shot on target by the 20th minute, and it was like a slow roller that was easily collected by Wegner. So it wasn't even like a great shot, a great save. It was just like very routine for her. So that is super, like I said, a really great sign that this system was built for exactly this, and it's working. In the 22nd minute, Nacello dribbles, gets fouled right outside the box, and we essentially waste that free kick. But off of the resulting throw in after that, Haugen makes a run and gets I described it as delicious, a delicious cross directly across the face of goal in the 6-yard box, and just no one gets off the end of it. Gets on the end of it. I believe it did take a deflection off DC as it crossed, but their deflection didn't block us from getting to it. We just didn't get to it. But off of that corner, Picorni and Nacello do their give and go routine again, where Picorni makes the run cutting in and Nacello kind of pulls the defensive players and dribbles. I think Nacello did a back heel this time instead of a no-look pass. She always has a trick up her sleeve. Ultimately, Picorni and Gianna Gorley collide right inside the box. I think it was a foul on Picorni. It ends the run of play, but that just is also another piece of evidence towards we have a system going. Picorni and Nacello have practiced this exact thing. They've already done it twice in this game. One of the times led to a goal. So that was cool to see. Done again, so quickly, and that our players are being intentional like that.
33rd minute, there's another dangerous ball into the box. Wegner grabs it. Chisholm gets shoved in the goal, and I included this just so I could say that DC is trying everything to score a goal, and pushing a Sun player into the net does not count. We look really calm. That's one thing I noticed. We look really calm. We're taking our time. We know we're up by 1. We want another goal, but we know we're up by 1. We're not frantic, like, oh my God, we need a goal. We haven't scored anything yet.
Yeah.
We looked really solid this half.
Yeah. I think that's important too, that when we come out with a game plan like that, even though we scored a goal, don't change the game plan. If it already worked for one goal and we didn't concede anything, us sticking with that exact same plan, playing with the exact same intensity, absorbing the pressure, that is how you see out the rest of the first half. I mean, at this point, we're still playing the first half of the game, but really not changing anything, having the confidence and the belief, every player buying into this system that is being developed, or maybe has been being developed, and we just haven't really seen the fruits of it yet. And this is that now, is really cool to see. So I have this kind of noted as like the rest of the half, some stuff happens right at the end, but overall, our defensive block is just so structured and confident through this whole half. There's essential clearances that I can point out from all 4 defenders. I was taking notes and I realized at one point that I had named all 4 of them. So there you go. Like every single defender that's out there is making an essential block, not a last minute, they were in a great position already, but just making the intervention, as it's needed. An example of this is, if the defense isn't there, also Wegner is right behind them. She's super solid, absolutely is collecting the ball, anything that's rolling her way. She hasn't had to make any amazing saves yet, and that's optimal. I mean, you love a keeper who can make a great diving save, but it's even better if they don't have to in the first place. Yeah. An example of just this overall is in the 30th minute, Sun give away a bad pass, and Abera gets it like an opening, but the defense just completely closes in on her. And cuts off any passing options, so she can only take a shot, and ultimately her shot is blocked by the set. So DC was moving the ball in the final third. I think they had at least twice as many passes as us, like over the course of the whole game in the final third. And in this instance, when she had a great opportunity, we shut down her passing lanes, let her only take a shot, and that shot was only like into Vipaset. So that was really nice, and it's just such a relief to see our team play with such confident coverage in the box, and covering off a pretty solidly performing DC. I definitely don't think that they were lacking. They brought their A game for sure. We have a couple attacking plays through the rest of the half. Nothing super notable, good or bad. Nacello dribbles, as I'm sure you can imagine, But yeah, right at the end of the half, it kicks off a little bit more.
So in the 46th minute, Nacello has a breakaway. She's like 1-on-2. She gets shut down in the box. But Courtney made the run with her and was agonizingly open on the left side. And Nacello just never makes the pass. She was like, it's another one of those ones where she just has her blinders on and she's not looking. Her head is not up and on a swivel.
Yeah. Yeah. So pass it. She was open. Please.
Yeah.
I think Nacello steps to the right, and I'm like, and Picorni's like off
she
to
goes
her
off
left.
to the right, and Picorni's
like,
over on her left, and I'm like, but why?
She's free. But we're up by 1 goal, so it's all sunshine and rainbows. In the 48th minute, this is pretty much the last action of the half. Colton finds space in the D and gets a shot off, but Wegener makes, in my opinion, a massive save of the month candidate. Right up, diving to her right. It's one of those that could be like a bar down. It might have hit the top crossbar. It was definitely on frame. It was definitely going in. But if they scored basically as the last action of the half, the second half is completely different. So the huge save from Wegener, and just right after I was saying that she was always supporting the back line, but we haven't needed her yet. We needed her, and she stepped up in that instance. So then we headed into halftime.
Yeah. DC has 10 shots, 3 are on target at this point. 59% possession.
Correct.
I can talk. And 3 corners. We've had 4 shots with 2 on target, so 50%, not bad. And 41% possession with 3 corners as well. Only 1 offside, so I'll take it.
Yeah. It was definitely one of the best halves I've seen us play against a quality team. Obviously, I'd love to say like us scoring multiple goals on Fort Lauderdale in a half was great, but I don't really rate Fort Lauderdale. So DC was playing well and we played better, and that was really nice to see. So heading into the second half, the Sun came out with a lot more, with even more like pressure and intention. Obviously, at the end of the previous half, you're just kind of seeing it out to halftime. But really, there was a renewed press to us. So instead of just absorbing the pressure, we were actually actively working to shut it down. And I wrote up the phrase ball-seeking missiles in our midfield, because every time a DC player would receive the ball near the center circle or between the center circle and their final third, we just had like 3 players, whether it was Provo, Listro, Nacello, Gaillard, like there were just players like just closing in on the ball. But not so many players that we left open any DC attackers as well. We didn't kind of expose ourselves. We really put the pressure on and kind of upped the press. And I think this was probably a tactic to come out of halftime and be like, hey, we want to get that second goal. We don't want to sit back. We're not seeing the game out. We want to strip them of the ball and give ourselves more opportunities. And we kind of did.
Yeah. 58th minute, McNeil is getting kind of physical with a DC player. Some shoulder shoving, probably deserved a second yellow. Shout out to Chesky for that, for not giving us a second yellow on that one, because she gets subbed because she gets subbed a couple minutes later. So
yeah, it was right after her first yellow, so maybe not a problem through the whole game, but maybe just a hot minute. I'm sure Chesky had a talk with her, as she does. And then the subs immediately after. So Zaid came on for McNeil. So no risk of a red for her anymore. And then Shimkin came on for Picorni. Hopefully that leads to a good thing happening. We'll see. Anyways, 2 minutes later, Shimkin scores a freaking goal. So let's do the walkthrough here. DC throws it in. This is right after the sub stoppage, because it was a hydration break too, so it was like a 2-minute stoppage. DC throws in after the break, and it's intercepted by Provo. And then, like I said, the ball-seeking missiles kick in. So Provo just deflects it. She doesn't make a clean pass. And Weber, Nacello, and Shimkin just bring that pressure in to DC heavily, and Weber ultimately comes away with the ball. She makes a long looping pass wide out to kind of out to the wing. And actually, Paige Almendiras does kind of intercept this, but Listro gets it off of her. She just made a deflection. So once Listro takes it, she kind of makes a short pass up to Shimkin right outside of the box, and she just sees an opening. What she sees is a couple Sun players towards the back post, definitely an opportunity to cross and try and get them to head it in. She sees a goalkeeper kind of in the middle of her net, and she just sees this big wide open space from the middle of the net to the close post, and there's not a single defender stepping to her. And as she winds up to kick it, I think literally everybody on planet Earth believed she was about to cross the ball to the back post. I think maybe even she thought she was going to cross the ball to the back post because the players are open over there. The defense is making a shift already to their right. I think even the goalkeeper, I didn't really get a good read on it, but I think the goalkeeper is even shifting her weight to get to the right to cover off that cross that might be coming in. And no, she takes the shot directly straight. It does end up just going right at kind of above the keeper's head, and she's caught out. I mean, I think she's just surprised that the ball came her way, like I said. And even though she gets both hands on it, it just goes, the gloves were not sticky enough. It just goes through the gloves and ends up in the back of the net. This is such a fantastic heads up shot from Shimkin. I mean, like I said, when I describe what she's seeing, obviously just shoot it straight forward. No defenders stepped to her at all. They didn't make an attempt to shut her down. There was no pressing. So she said, all right, you guys going to leave it open for me. Let's do it. And she sent it right into the back of the net. And also notably, that was her first professional goal as well, which is very fun that we had two first professional goals in the same game. Players with a little bit different tenure, but still very cool to see. And then also it was Listro's second assist ever, which really surprised me because she is involved pretty frequently in our attack. But I know historically over the course of her whole career, she's been definitely more midfield minded, not as getting forward as much.
She'd probably get hockey assists if we counted those.
Yeah,
we have a bunch of those.
Yeah, she's definitely a playmaker, but maybe not score sheet, regular. So yeah, that was very cool to see. It was a great sequence overall from Weber, Nacello, Shimkin, and Listro, all four of them contributing immediately before. And like I said, those ball-seeking missiles just shut down any opportunity in that instance, any opportunity DC had to clear it out. So that was really nice to see.
Yeah, this was nuts, honestly. This is Jilly's first touch. Like she's scoring off her first two touches. I'm sorry. I think we counted it. I think it was 5 total, like just to get the ball settled and then one to shoot. It was crazy. And the keeper absolutely screwed up. Was just not paying attention or something, or just didn't expect it. But I love that Jilly went for it. Because like I said, at this point and I said it last week, or 2 weeks ago at this point, I don't know. At this point, just go for it. What do we have to lose? Apparently nothing.
Send it. Really great goal. Shout out Jilly Shimkin. Good work. So this is also just like in the first half, just like with the other first professional goal, DC have an opportunity to respond pretty much right after. This isn't as close. It's about 2 minutes later, but Abrera gets the ball outside of the box and her shot ultimately just goes wide, but she basically had a free shot on goal. But my take is that #mykeeper, Emery Wegner, would have been there. She does make kind of a slide. And I think she has the post covered off. So if it had been on frame, Emery would have been there. No chance it was going in, but it was an opportunity. And it was another one that we just put enough pressure on that she put it off frame. In the next few minutes, there's more DC pressure. And remember, the whole time, everything we described, DC does have most of the possession throughout the entire game. So everything we describe is really, I'm not going to say that the Sun are counterattacking. We're not getting our opportunities by like playing a defensive block and then counterattacking. We are building up some plays, but just DC is building up twice as much essentially. And they are moving the ball around a lot more frequently. Like I said, I think they have twice as many passes as us in the final third by the end of the game. So the Sun defensive shape though, totally shuts all of that down. They're unable to break through at all. And they're not really getting any quality opportunities. And I think that's the big difference between how these two games have gone against DC and Dallas, we're going to cover the Dallas game next, is that the Sun are making the quality opportunities in these games, and we're letting DC and Dallas and these teams get the quantity off. You can try as many times as you want, but we're always going to have a defended Chisholm, Haugen, Bissett. They're always going to be there blocking you, McNeil. And so, the shots numbers and the possession tally might be heavily favored on the other side, but we're making them count with a lot more quality and a lot, not even a lot less opportunities, just a few less opportunities of higher quality. So that was really nice to see. And I just put an additional shout out in here just because of a couple of defensive sequences in the second half. Chisholm's elite, dude. We are very fortunate to have her. And it's still really impressive that this is like her third month of being a professional player. I mean, I am not going to speak to the NCAA's quality. It could be not that much different from the Super League. I expect that it's not, since so many of the Super League players are so freshly out of college. But it is definitely a step up, and there's definitely very quality players on every team that have professional experience, some of which have NWSL or international experience. So just the fact that Taylor Chisholm, in her first couple games, I saw flaws or things that she needed to work on to get to like an elite level. And just the fact that the turnaround time on that has been like, she's improved her play more than things that it's taken me 10 years to improve. And she's done it in like 2 months. Like she's just brilliant. So it's super impressive. And I wanted to just give a big shout out to Taylor Chisholm, because I literally couldn't imagine how like our defensive shape would look without her. And she randomly showed up one day. That's not true, but essentially. So that's very cool.
She kind of reminds me of like a more level-headed Jade Moore on our back line. Maybe she'll go for the tackle, but just a little more with a little more thought on it, I guess. A little less instinct.
Yeah, but she can tackle the hell out of somebody too.
Yes.
I almost dropped a second
Jade
one.
Moore of it. That's the Jade Moore of it.
Yeah.
And I have to say, Wagner really doing the work here, though. That Loza Abera shot, I literally went and like I like gasped and like I felt like my heart stopped for a minute. I was like, no, we got this, though. We got this.
Yeah, she was there. # my keeper. So in the 76th minute, we get our last two Sun subs on. Don't think about it too hard. We make our fourth and fifth sub. We make two more after this, actually. So this is
we do.
So we bring Hendricks in for Haugen. Oh, this is just the one. Okay. Hendricks comes in for Haugen. And I think Haugen was great this game. I don't know if she took a knock here. I think she was just being cycled out.
I think she did. I think if I remember correctly, she had some kind of like knock with another player, and then it was like, you know what, now's a good time to bring a Henny in, kind of thing. Like same thing like as oh my god, McNeil. She gets that second yellow warning. All right, now's a good time to sub her out. Yeah,
now that you mention it, I do remember it was like 2 minutes before this on the clock that she was like downed for a minute. I think she got treatment, and then that was probably DSB told Henny to get ready. And the sub came 2 minutes later. So, that was in the 76th. And then in the 80th minute, Weber receives the ball, receives a great through ball, and is just totally shut down by Constant. Claire Constant's a great defender, so can't really be too mad at that. I think one thing about Weber, obviously she scored in this game. I don't have a lot of complaints, but she does judge through balls really well. I've seen her receive a couple. One was from Maddie Parsons that I remember. This one as well. I don't remember exactly who got the pass up to her, but she knows like exactly when to run. She's not getting caught off sides super frequently, but either she takes too many touches when she is through, or just her positioning or her maybe like goalkeeper awareness is not to a level where she's converting these super regularly. And a lot of these do end up being 1-on-2 or 1-on-1 chances where you want like a really high quality striker to pretty reliably be able to convert these. So that's just one thing I'm keeping an eye on. I'm not, this is not like a criticism of Faith Weber. She's obviously like also a new professional player, and she's learning every single game and seeing these same opportunities, and she wants to score goals. But that's something to keep an eye on, that she's been through a few times. She definitely has a really good eye for getting these through balls and breaking that back line. And I would just love to see her start figuring out what the keeper can do and how to work around them, or taking the extra touch on a dribble and getting around them. Whatever the solution may be in each circumstance. Just her working on that.
We make our fourth and fifth sub.
Yeah, our fourth and fifth sub. Yeah.
We bring on Maddie Parsons for Nacello, Peyton Parsons for Weber. And Maddie tries to pull a Jilly Shimkin and try and make her first touch a goal. She doesn't quite make it. But I love it. We love super subs all over the park tonight.
Yeah. That was a great little header. I wish it was a little unframed. That was one I think I mentioned to you in person, but her headers have she gets them up a lot and they go over the top of the net. This one was a great downward angled header. It was just a little off frame. So shout out Maddie. She must have heard me. In the 89th minute, coming right up to the end of the game, seeing the game out, but also still having some attacking intent, Zaid thunders across that Gaillard just can't get on the other end of cleanly. So she sends it wide. And this is another thing that Jordan Zaid has, that pace on the right, and she gets up the field a lot, but all of her crosses are just bangers, and that's not a good thing. They're too hard and nobody can get on the end of them. You see her crosses just flying across the box, and if a player does get a touch on it, it's like a weird deflection that they couldn't really control. This also, I don't know if I noted it for the Dallas game, but she did it at least once when she was subbed on in the Dallas game too. So I just a little more finesse on those crosses. Once you get free on the wing, Jordan would be fine, or not, whatever, no worries if not. But I think that would help her teammates get on the end of it. Anyways, in the 90th minute, we made another substitution, and we don't know why or how or what the rules of the league are at all. And I looked into it, nobody knew. But yes, in the 90th minute, Giamona came on for Gaillard. And if you're keeping track, obviously we've been alluding to it, this is our 6th substitution of the match in our 4th window. So if you general FIFA rules that were adopted going into COVID, men's FIFA rules, I think it's the same for women, is 5 substitutions in 3 windows, which means that if you want to make all 5, you have to do 2. Well, you could do all 5 in 1 window, I guess, but you have to make multiple subs in a window generally. If you sub at halftime, it doesn't count for one of those windows. So you could do a sub at halftime and still take 3 sub breaks. We took 4 sub breaks in this game. All the substitutions were during the second half. And in those 4 windows, 6 new players came onto the pitch. This happened in a game. The result has not been disqualified yet. The 4th official let it happen. Surely everyone was keeping track. The official match center page on the website has 6 substitutions happened. It must be fine. We don't know. I would love to get.
I'm wondering if Haugen's counted as a concussion sub or something.
But the issue with all of them, because I don't want to spend a lot of time on this, but I can rant about it. My issue with all of them is that I watched the whole game back, and before every substitution, the player was playing. And if it's a concussion sub, I would think that from the player going down, yes, Haugen went down before her sub, and also I believe Giamona went down before hers, I think. Or not Giamona, Gaillard, sorry, because Gaillard came off. I think Gaillard went down before hers, but both were 2 minutes before the sub ultimately happened, and the players were back playing the game. If they had been held on the sideline, and because when the trainer comes out, they have to go to the sideline before they're let on again. Both of those players were let on again. So if they were in concussion protocol, then they wouldn't have been able to play. So and also the official match notes in our Dallas game does have one of our subs listed as for injury, and the official match notes of this game have no subs listed for injury. So the way I read everything and what I saw in the game, the camera angles don't show everything. If there was something that happened off screen and a player was being checked for concussion and a sub happened, that is a possibility. if anyone is more in the know than us, let us know. I'm very curious about this. Ultimately, I don't think it matters very much. Clearly, it was allowed for some reason, but yes, I will note that the USLW League, I was able to confirm, does have 6 sub windows, but the W League is an amateur development league, essentially. So you can see why they would have more sub windows to get more players rotated into games, to get more players experience. So I'm not sure if maybe it's a women's soccer thing that they want to have more sub windows for health reasons. We don't fully understand women athletes as a whole and how injuries occur. So, it is possible that the Super League might have different rules. But in the USL Championship, which a lot of the Super League rules come from, they use 5 subs and 3 windows, which is the FIFA standard internationally. So ultimately it doesn't matter, but if let us know.
You know what would help?
I don't know.
Some kind of handbook.
Yeah.
Some kind of player guidebook or something.
Yeah. I mean, surely the teams have info,
Yeah.
but I have to talk about the teams regularly in such detail that info would be useful for me too.
Yes.
So we see the game out from there after my rant. DC does push and have a few opportunities right into stoppage time, but the Sun just hold the line in that defensive structure we've been holding all game, even with Hendricks coming in. It's just she slotted right into the system, and we really earned the shutout here. I'm really happy with Wegener succeeding every time she's tested. Like I said, our back 4. I don't think Hendricks made any notable defensive actions, but she applied just as much pressure as anyone else in her part of the game as well. But our starting back 4 were just elite, and it was earned as hell. So great to see a shutout, especially after getting shut out in the previous game and allowing 3 goals. Just to turn around and come out with a performance like this is really encouraging.
Yeah. So DC ended up having 14 shots total with only 4 on target. They did end with 60% possession.
That's why I make you say the stats, because I wouldn't be able to do it.
And 6 corners. We had 8 shots, 3 were on target, and so we had the other 40% possession. I didn't write down how many corners we had for the final because I'm a silly Billy. But we only had 2 offsides, which also feels like an improvement.
Yeah. It turns out when you have a system you're working towards, you don't break the rules of the game as often. This was a huge performance. We did such a great job here to come back from the loss, like I said. But not only that, with the lineup change, it was this is what DSB has been seeing the whole time. Because there's been for sure critics and people who have even gone as far as saying that she might not deserve her job if we are bottom of the table. And I mean, even when this game ended, we were still bottom of the table. And they might be right. There is absolutely a world where she is not being effective enough, and and the players that we have could be more competitive and be higher in the league. But I think with the injuries that we've had this year and the squad rotation, and we had literally players retire, we're bringing in NCAA players that have never been professional before. With where we're at now, I think I see the vision. I think I see what she has been seeing, and this is the Tampa Bay Sun, at least the spring Sun, since the player changes over the off season or the mid-season break, what we actually look like. And those changes that she did make were super effective. Weber got on the score sheet finally with her start. Picorni directly contributed to a goal and at least one other significant opportunity. The defensive unit was great. All 4 defenders were notably making interceptions and blocks, and Wegener made the save, the one super save, and then a few other just collections that were really high quality. Super earned shutout, like I said, and just a great team performance overall. Every part of the field did their job, earned a win, and loved it.
Yeah. I truly did not realize how much we missed Dory Haugen. Like, holy crap. And that is entirely a dig on me and not on her. But I didn't realize how much of a loss that was. And I feel bad for underestimating her because she has come back swinging. I am so happy we have her in our back line again. Just phenomenal performance. Also, I noticed that Jordy did her hair in a ponytail this game. She also does her hair in a ponytail for the Dallas game. So I'm wondering if ponytail Jordy is the superior Jordy. As you know, she has done a bun a lot of the times. These are the important things that I notice. So I think if Jordy is listening, ponytail Jordy, that's the magic touch.
Intangibles.
Yes. Also, DC has no right to have that good of an alternate kit. What the heck, man? It looks so good. I want it just to wear to a Lightning game.
These were back-to-back, like, pretty solid kit matches.
Yeah.
The Dallas kits are very clean. The colors are good. These DC, they were kind of like a camo kind of thing, right? Like a multi-pattern kind of thing, right?
It was like a tessellate of a bunch of different a bunch of lightning bolts all together in like shades of blue. It was pretty. I like it. Like I said, that would be perfect for a lightning match.
Yeah.
It didn't say agile defense on the front.
Any third kit any third kit at all that we could have that was stocked in enough of a quantity for me to get one would be nice. Or goalkeeper. Actually, I said this during the Dallas game, but since we're talking about kits, this will be the small diversion. Sell sleeveless goalkeeper kits because Emery Wegner pulls up her sleeves, and just like all the little girls out there watching the Tampa Bay Sun play, I also just want to be like Emery Wegner when I grow up. And so sell me a sleeveless goalkeeper. Like, in the late 90s in baseball, there was like a sleeveless jersey trend. Like, just sell me a sleeveless goalkeeper kit.
We could do another 90s trend where they have the Velcro straps to like hold them up. Go like to do that.
I'll wear those with my zip off shorts pants.
There you go.
Who's your player of the match?
So it's Chisholm, but I want to give Haugen an honorable mention, and it would have been Haugen if she had played all 90. Because she is back and better than ever. But Chisholm was truly a cut above.
Yeah, I agree. Same. Definitely liked her work, and super grateful to have her involved with the team. Thank you for graduating college, Taylor Chisholm. We're just gonna send it because I think we've taken enough diversions already into last night as we record this, last night's game. On Tuesday, March 31st, the Sun played away in Dallas at the Cotton Bowl. 91,000 seats. Maybe 1,000 people there. Dallas
honestly,
was...
considering it was a Tuesday, though, not a bad amount of people.
it was more than 1,000, I think. Also,
yeah.
I was ribbing a little bit. And it was their women's empowerment night, I believe. So they also did it on a weeknight, and the Sun are not the problem. I'm just kidding. Schedule us better. But also, they also did women's empowerment night. And so for context, just with the game overall, we kind of touched on this already, but Dallas was fourth at the kickoff of this game. They were in the playoff spot. DC was chasing them at that point. And they are trying to kind of differentiate themselves, pull themselves up a little bit higher, separate themselves on the table. They were ultimately not successful. Let's go. They previously had played Lexington to a draw, so Lexington is in second, pretty quality team. But then they played first place Jacksonville and got smashed 4-0, and that was the result right before we played them. So, obviously they might have been shook a little bit. They might have been, because they played the best team in the league. Obviously, they put out a great roster, what they thought was their best roster for that game. And to get beat that bad, in one way, it could have demotivated them. In the other way, and you would think when the Sun are coming to town and you think you might get an easier win against the bottom, they played the top of the league and the bottom of the league back to back. They might have some more motivation. But no, they lost both games, so that's cool. What was the lineup for this one, Liz?
The exact same lineup.
Woo. Same subs too.
Again, do I read it again?
You don't need to.
Okay.
We just said
we
it
don't
like
make any
30 minutes
changes. Everything's the same. Literally everything is the same. It's very much if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yes. Yeah, same subs. We didn't make the same substitutions, but the same bench was on the lineup. So let's get into the game. And we have a little bit less notes on this game. I think ultimately because less interesting things happened, but also maybe because both of us had to rewatch 2 games in a row, including a game we literally watched last night and then watched again today. So, yes, here's our game notes on the Dallas game. The first 20 minutes, Dallas came out strong. This is kind of similar. They looked similar to how we looked against DC. They were the ones really consistently building plays out of the back. They showed a lot of intention. This, like I said, is off the back of a big loss against top of the league. You play against bottom of the league, you come out with your game plan and say, hey, we're going to play them off the field at our home field. But while they do move the ball around a lot, and even up into the final third make a lot of passes, the Sun locks them out of any quality chances on net. They get no looks. And that is just such a nice sight to see after the last game, thinking, is this our quality? And to have it reaffirmed to us that, this defense, these back four with McNeil, Chisholm, Bissett, and Haugen. Maybe we should have read the lineup again, but the back four, they're at it again. They're up to their same standard as the previous game. Up to the 20th minute. In the 20th minute, Dallas just gets 3 corners in a row, and none of them are threatening at all. Dallas loved getting corners in this match. They end with a lot of them, and none of them go in, but also none of them even really challenge Wagner in goal. I don't even know if they get a shot. I think they get 1 or 2 shots off of corners in the whole match, really actually put the ball towards frame. It was just very funny to see them get 3 in a row that came to nothing. And then in the 24th minute, 4 minutes later, they get 2 more in a row. In this one, it was a little bit shaky on the second. Wagner slightly misplays one of them. She punches the ball out when she probably could have caught it. It's one of those that the keeper kind of ends up underneath, and you expect them to just take it in. She hits it with a punch, and it bounces to an attacker, and she ultimately, it doesn't come to anything. She's not forced into any more action, but it was a little concerning. I would have liked to see her catch that, and she does it again later, and I'll get into that. But yeah, I hope that does not continue too much. Just catch the ball. You got the sticky gloves. But a few minutes after that, in the 29th minute, it's a Sun goal, baby. We score first again. And yeah, I'll walk you through it. Building out the back, the ball comes to McNeil, who breaks through the Dallas midfield just herself, just trucking it. It wasn't a crazy play. She didn't do any dribbling. She just gets the ball out ahead of her and follows it through. She breaks the midfield line. And then she sends it out, kind of lays it off to Pokorny down the right flank, or down the left side, sorry. And Pokorny, in a very similar position to the first goal against DC, sends it across from right on the edge of the box across the face of goal. But in this time, it's Weber on the back post. Remember, Weber scored from the D against DC. Weber's on the back post and has an opportunity to shoot it close in front of her to the back post there. And instead of taking that opportunity, she serves it back across the face of goal, past the keeper, and just guarantees that it becomes a goal because McNeil, finishing her run, she started the whole thing, gets on the other end of it and just taps it in. Free, open goal. Nobody was there. No defenders. I think the ball just moved too fast in the box for them to think. The no defenders really made challenges. But Weber was contested. She definitely gets kind of a deflection where she had the goalkeeper coming at her from one side and a defender on her. But McNeil just runs through the box right to the goal, and the ball appears at her feet, and she just kicks it in.
Just buries it.
Yeah.
Absolutely buries it. There was no way she couldn't have scored at that point. Yeah,
it was 100% chance. That's about as close as a 100% guarantee in a soccer game as you can get. It was awesome. Shouts out to Sabrina McNeil. Fantastic run. And I think if I didn't end up going back through the Discord messages, in the Heatwave Discord, if we play an away game, by the way, we all have a match channel where we talk about the match that's going on. So if you're interested, we had somebody new join that didn't know that the Discord existed. If you are looking for a community to talk to about these games, if you're watching them alone, don't. come join us and chat about the games. But anyways, in the Discord chat, like 2 minutes before this, I was about to just make a comment about McNeil defensively just being locked in this game. She looked almost like Chisholm last game. Not that Chisholm was any less quality too, but McNeil was the one who was shining in my eyes as a player who was kind of putting it on, really getting in there, shoulder to shoulder, bullying off the ball in defensive actions. And then she started running forward, and I love to see that.
Not running, sprinting.
Yeah.
If you go back and watch it, she takes off with the ball. It's honestly, it was crazy.
Yeah. And it was a great way to catch off like their midfield, and they're just not expecting, a player that a couple minutes ago probably shouldered them off the ball to make a run past them. And so fantastic execution. McNeil finishing it is so deserved. It could have been a couple of players that ultimately were like in the box in that position, but her just finishing the whole run was really deserved. I'm glad she got on the score sheet because she set up the goal in the first place. And like I said, Picorni's contribution cannot be understated. She gets that initial cross in, and she has been on the left side. Like I was saying, we've been weak over there. Nacello doesn't often dribble it up the left. She's more partial to her right. So Picorni kind of filling that role in 2 games in a row has pretty much directly contributed to a goal. And this one, it's a hockey assist, but that was really great to see. And Weber on the score sheet again, with the assist. So everyone that is starting these games regularly, this new consistent starting lineup that we seem to have finally found, they're continuing to earn. So I love that. Nothing else super notable happens. This is the part of the rewatch where I text Liz and I'm like, are you taking any notes for these 20 minutes? Because there's nothing happening. The ball is going back and forth in midfield. Surely there was some shots that were missed and whatever, and it's fine. In the 42nd minute,
nothing
however,
of like real significance.
Yeah,
like,
nothing that means
give you the play-by-play, but it would just be us being like, and then they passed it, and then there was a shot, and then they passed it.
Yeah. And we're Sun fans. We're only here for the multiple goal wins, right? As opposed to the entire rest of the season, which were multiple goal losses. In the 42nd minute, Nacello makes a solo run. This is one where actually I think it was Weber was in front of her and just stopped because she was offside. So she didn't want to suggest that she was open for a pass. And she just lets Nacello run past her. And then Nacello goes 1-on-6. There's 6 defenders in the box, and Sydney Nacello is there too. And she gets a shot off. It's on frame and it has to be saved. I don't think it was like the highest quality shot, but it is very funny to just see, like, if I took a screenshot of it, it would just be like 6 Dallas defenders and the goalkeeper. It was 6 outfield players and the goalkeeper, and Sydney DeCello are like the only. I don't know. It was just very funny to see, and that was really the only thing worth mentioning up to halftime. So then it was halftime.
Yeah. Side note. At halftime, we got some of the local Dallas commercials. Why does Dallas Trinity have bangers for like commercials? They had this adorable one where it was like this little girl was like watching it on the TV, and then she goes and she laces up her boots. She goes out to the field, and then who's there? Allie Thornton. It's like, what?
Yeah, there were 2 in a row. One of them was like for a sponsor, and then the other one was for Dallas. Some youth foundation or something, and it was just like, dang, that's cool. Yeah, I thought the same thing. I was like, put Sun players in commercials, come on.
Yeah,
I have the same feeling. I mean, obviously we're both Rowdies fans, so I had the same feeling when whatever car dealership was like really into the Rowdies a couple years ago, and I think it was Forrest Lasso was like appearing in commercials regularly, and I was like, this is really neat.
The one where they do the like shots or whatever.
Yeah.
It was so corny. I loved it.
It's really corny, but it's fun, and it makes you feel like the team is like, people and part of your community. Yeah. So hashtag sell out, sell out Tampa Bay Sun, get our players in all kinds of commercials.
So we make a couple of subs, right at half, the start of the second half. We bring Maddie Parsons in for Gaillard. I don't really get this sub, but I'm okay with it. That's about all I have to say about that.
Yeah. think iHeart was a little bit erased in this game. I don't like to say it like that, but she just like she didn't have any like meaningful contributions. And so I think a sub like this at halftime is to see if another player in that same area can make more out of it. And Maddie is a player who is like best at hold up play. She can get physical, and maybe that's what DSB was like seeing we needed in that position on the field. So I don't hate the sub. I don't think it was like the best. I think it was fine. I don't, an early sub like that like feels like something's wrong, and I don't think anything was wrong with Sandrine. So, you know.
Yeah, no, and that's not to say that I don't think Maddie could do well there. I think she'd do great just as an attacking mid, doing hold up play, maybe like I said, holding on to the ball while the forwards get up ahead so that she can pass to them. So it's not a bad position by any means. It was just one of those like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Not a whole lot happens. About 10 minutes later in the 58th, we make another 2 subs. We bring Giamona in for Picorni, and we bring Shimkin in for Provo.
Gee, I sure hope the Giamona in for Picorni sub leads to something good happening. I guess we'll see.
I can't imagine.
A little bit after that, actually just 2 minutes in the 60th, Dallas has a pretty good chance. Dallas swings across into the box, which looks like an easy catch for Wegener. But, and this is why I brought this up earlier, it gets away from her. I don't think she tries to punch it. I do think she tries to catch it. Maybe she's bumped. Maybe it's a Sun defender. I don't know exactly what happens, but she doesn't get her hands on it. And it falls to Boss, and Wegener basically has to like square up like a goalie, but like outside of the 6-yard box. She's like halfway across the 18 in front of her net. So there's a huge open net behind her. There are 2 Sun defenders covering it, but she squares up for Boss's shot. She does deflect it, so she makes a save again, very far in front of her net. And Missimo is able to collect it there. Well, she doesn't really collect it. She kind of gets a leg to flail towards it, and her shot goes wide. So, or maybe she even just gets a deflection. I don't even think she gets a shot off, but that was really scary. Hashtag my keeper, please, Emery, catch the ball. This is definitely a mistake. I haven't seen her make many mistakes like this. The initial, when I mentioned it before, where she didn't catch it, where she punched it, she was intentionally trying to punch it. I just don't love that decision, but ultimately that didn't lead to a goal. So that's fine. In this one, she had her hands open. She's trying to catch the ball, and she kind of like volleyball sets it away from herself. So definitely, just a mistake. And ultimately, she's really solid otherwise. So I'm not calling for her head or anything, but that was about Dallas's best chance of the second half, and very scary. So didn't love to see that. Well, it was their best chance of the half that was in open play, I will say. But after that, in the 68th minute, Jordan Zaid comes in for Faith Weber. This is just, I think, to get fresh legs on. Faith Weber's played. I think she played. Was she subbed off in the last one? Yeah, she was, but in the 86. So she played almost 90 the previous week. So definitely makes sense to get that sub going there. What happens next?
Disaster strikes in the 76th minute. Dallas gets a PK. It's unfortunate. Viv just fouls a Dallas player, and lightly taps her just enough so that she goes down super easy. But like, I can't blame her for trying to make the tackle, at least.
Yeah.
So shit happens.
Yeah. I think she slipped. I think Chisholm immediately before this slips. This is the Dallas players making like a cutting in run, and Chisholm like does the like meme, like slides across in front of her, and she just like holds the ball, and Chisholm doesn't get any of the ball. And Chisholm slipped. She was not trying to make like a 2-footed sliding tackle there. She just like goes down as she's trying to stop to defend, so like square up. And I see what Viv did as almost the exact same thing, except once the Dallas players turned, Viv might, there's no good angle of this because we don't get a lot of camera angles in the Super League, but Viv might have caught like the back of her leg and taken her down more than it looks like. Her hand is definitely on her shoulder, but she was not making a tackle. So that's like the point of what I'm getting at, is that she was not intentionally going to ground herself. I believe her feet came out from under her and she slipped. And especially because Chisholm just slipped right before it, I'm like, okay, there's wet grass there, or whatever the case is. And I think while her hand was on the shoulder, if we got another camera angle, it's possible that like her knee or her hip might have caught the Dallas player's like the back of her thigh. So I don't know exactly what happened. We didn't really get a camera angle. Obviously the ref saw it as a pen. And I think it was like the actual thing that happened was a foul, but I don't think Viv was going for a tackle. And I think it was just unlucky. Like, to me, that's my like main take on the whole PK, is it was just really unlucky that it happened, because just like with the DC game, this whole game, this defense and Emery Wagner, despite, apart from the one mistake that she made, earned a shutout again. So it's really unlucky that we gave up the PK that ultimately did get converted, and the score was tied 1-1. We don't remember much of what it feels like to be tied in the last couple of games after getting blown out the previous game before that.
77th minute, Nasello has a chance. Nasello blocks a clearance to give herself like a one-on-one with the keeper, but her close range shot is saved.
In the 83rd minute, like we said, not a ton happening. Hendricks comes in for Haugen. This is the same sub that happened right at the end of the game last time. Just getting fresh legs on, kind of, in a way, seeing it out. I mean, just making sure that they don't score more, getting a new defender out there. But I think our previous subs were, excuse me while I hiccup in the middle of what I'm saying. Our previous subs were suggesting that, I mean, we want to win the game. We get attackers out there and we're trying to get the job done. And then what happens, Liz?
When playing it at the back goes wrong.
We should send it to them.
Yeah.
Isn't that like an account?
I think so.
We should tag them.
So the Dallas keeper makes a truly terrible pass that Carly Giamona eyeballs immediately, takes it, runs, buries it.
Easy.
I love it.
Yeah, and I had mentioned before this, because Giamona had been out there for most of this half, or all of this half. No, most of the half. And I, again, in the Discord, shout out the Discord, mentioned that Giamona is still our second top scorer. So obviously Sydney DeSello is up top. And then Giamona, from 3 goals in the first 5 games of the season, is our second top scorer, and everyone else has been like trickling in 1 or 2 here or there. So it is kind of funny that like right after I had that thought, where I was like, hey guys, fun fact, because Carly has not been playing as much in her performances. She's been shut out in a lot of opportunities. She has not had really any quality like performances or fantastic attempts on goal like recently, in especially in the second half of the season. I think they were saying it was 14 games between her like goals or goal contributions. So it's funny that right after I have that thought, she has a super heads up play, and full credit to her for being up enough to pressure. And this is the kind of like press that you take advantage of. And then, like Liz said, a team playing out the back and it going wrong. Dallas was feeling comfortable in possession. This is something that I think DC benefited from as well, is like we let them pass the ball. We let them pass around the back to the keeper, up to the back line again. They're trying to find an opening, and Carly just stood right there until the ball bounced in a certain way, and she just ran in, and I think she like slides into the ball and just like kicks it, and the keeper can't get to it in time. Fantastic play. Shout out Carly Giamona, further solidifying yourself second on the team with 3 goals in the first 5 games and then 1 goal in the 23rd game. So yeah, shout out Carly Giamona. And that's really the end of kind of the game as well.
There were 9 minutes of excruciating extra time.
True. I forgot. It was literally last night, but I had already pushed it out of my mind. Yeah. 9 minutes. There was some injuries. I think Dallas had an injury sub in the second half. So they had a player who was down for multiple minutes and then ultimately was subbed off. The hydration break affiliated with that, I believe. And so it was an earned few minutes, but 9 felt a little generous. Although there's like a study, I guess, in the Premier League that teams at home, if they're down, there's more stoppage time added. I don't know if you ever saw anything about that, but like if you're playing at home and you're losing, they tend to add more stoppage time, so there's more of a chance you can come back. Maybe I don't know. But overall, the takeaways here are that Dallas, I think, put up more of a fight than DC. Obviously, other than the score line, Dallas scored a goal, but like we said, it was kind of an unlucky penalty that we gave up. Dallas definitely was playing with more of a structure, with a lot more of intention, and that same defensive structure that was so effective against DC also was effective in shutting down Dallas. It was just, I think it came through different players. It came through McNeil a little bit more, and Taylor Chisholm was like less necessary in this game. And I think Bissett had some good contributions too. Obviously, other than the foul that led to the penalty, she was very involved and made a lot of good blocks too. So I liked what I saw in this game, and this starting lineup, this roster, exactly as it is, has earned to me their next start in the next game that the Sun play. So who is your player of the match, Liz?
For me, it's got to be Wegner. I just think it probably would have been last week too, if not for Chisholm. But and like I said, Chisholm's like right here, and then Haugen's like right here. Oh, it's like we're all so good. I love this.
Yeah,
it's so hard to pick.
Yeah, I mean, embarrassment of riches. I don't know if I have a specific player. I want to say McNeil for like the vibes. She had a great first half. She was a little bit less necessary in the second half. The game was a little bit more open by that point, and I don't think our defenders were shutting it down as effectively in the second. But I think McNeil ultimately, because that sequence up to the goal was great. I mean, I just loved that she started it, that she finished it, and just like for fun, good vibes. McNeil gets my player of the match.
All right.
So here we are, 2 games in a week, 2 wins, 6 points. There's math that I will not recount, but I am going to say some numbers at you, Liz. We have not heard no E. I'm combining them. We are off the bottom of the table. Liz led with that because it's the most exciting news this week. We are on 21 points after these 2 games. Fort Lauderdale United also on 21 games played. We're on 21 games played. They're on 20. So we are clean, no games in hand either way. 1 point above Fort Lauderdale. Well-deserved. Fort Lauderdale are truly shit. Sorry. And I don't think we're that bad, even though we were behind them in the standings for the whole season. So they are on -17 goal differential. The next in the league is us on -9. So they have almost 10 more goals conceded than we do. So if you thought Sun Soccer has looked bad, they've looked that much worse. 3 of those were us. Shout out Tampa Bay Sun recently. So on 21 games played, we sit on 21 points. On 22 games played, Brooklyn is in 7th, right above us on 22. So we take that game in hand. If we get a draw, we still stay behind them because of goal differential. But if we get a win, we go 2 points clear of them. And then we're in 7th place. And that's just making up for our game in hand. I want to give you some context, though, overall, because I feel like I also like to be very emotional for fun. But I feel like we're a lot closer than it seems. And this specific comparison I'm about to make made it clear to me. Dallas is the team in 4th place. They are in the playoffs currently. They have -8 goal differential. Ours is -9. So that's almost negligible. Just 1 goal in a loss either way. They also are on 8 losses, and we are also on 8 losses. So a team in the playoffs has the exact same amount of losses on the season as we have. Our season has felt pretty rough. I felt like at points we've lost every game and we never had hope. But the team in the playoffs has 8 losses, and I will say the team above them in 3rd has 7 losses. So it's not the losses that are doing it to us. It's those teams are getting wins when we're getting draws. So we're on 9 draws and 4 wins, where Dallas has gotten 8 wins and 5 draws. So it's just the distribution of taking a draw and turning it into a win. I think this Tampa Bay Sun new, refreshed, consistent lineup that we've been having is that team that turns more of those draw situations into wins. We've gotten 2 goals in our last 2 games against teams who are either pushing for or already in the playoffs. I really like what this looks like for us. Statistically, it is still a long shot. So I am not saying that we're a shoe-in, that this is going to be easy, that it's going to be a perfect climb, but I do have a lot of belief that we haven't been as bad as it's felt the whole season, but we're only just now realizing how like little bit better we have to be, that we don't have to turn losses into wins. We just have to turn the draws into wins.
Yeah.
So that's a really interesting comparison that I didn't notice until I looked at the table kind of to do this analysis, was that like Dallas is just like us, except they've won 4 more games. If in 4 games, we've won all 4 of those, and the rest of the table is still battling, all the teams are taking points off of each other than Lexington has kind of stabilized. They had a couple rough games, and Jacksonville's running away. So if you don't know what's happening at the top of the table, Jacksonville's on 41 points. Lexington is on 37. And then third is 33. That's Carolina. Dallas on 29. DC on 26. Spokane on 26. We're on 21. So like we're within 8 or 9 points. It's a long way to go.
Just enough space to be delusional. I like
yes.
it.
But Carolina, DC, Dallas, Spokane, these teams are beating each other a lot. They're going back and forth. There's no clear third place team. I think it was DC and Brooklyn in the playoffs a couple weeks ago, and now they're 5th and 7th. Like these teams are moving around a lot. So if we're the team that consistently moves up there and we take the points off the teams we need to, there is a world in which the Sun can make the playoffs. I think it's about 1% according to Ryan Sharf's numbers. 1% chance, 99% faith. Shout out Neymar. Let's go. Let's do it. It's exciting. And that also, something to play for is really good. I spoke about it at the end of our last episode, which is kind of like a doomer episode because we just lost to the worst team in the league, which is not us anymore. But I was like, let's have fun for the rest of the season. We have a challenge ahead of us, but we didn't hear no E. And at this game on Sunday, I want to show the team like how engaged and excited we are to give it a go and see what we can do with it. So I'm
we're going to show them at this game on Easter.
Well, we've been at first of all, Liz, you know what? We'll get into the game. But first of all, okay, wrap up your Easter by 4:30 and get to Blake High School.
Yeah.
All right. First of all, that's for everybody. That's not for Liz. Liz is going to wrap it up at 4 and get there a little early. But yeah, I think actually there's a potential that this game is well attended because it is in the evening. So we did Women's Empowerment Wednesday was our highest attendance of the season. You don't think we can pull off Easter Sunday? I don't know. I think you're overrating Easter.
Am I?
Yeah, I think
Really?
you're overrating Easter. It's rough.
Right.
It's not optimal for sure.
Right.
It's at 5 p.m. on a Sunday. That's rough. And it is a holiday. That's rough. But I don't know. They got egg hunt. It's already Easter there. Why would you have your own Easter when you can go to our Easter at the high school? Yes.
You could let my aunt know that so that I don't have to go to that Easter or either of my mother-in-law's 2 Easters.
That's crazy. I haven't celebrated a holiday in 15 years. So
yeah,
because it might overlap with a soccer game. This is going to be the team's spring fling promotion. Is Easter trademarked? They can't just say that. There's going to be kids games. It's going to be a family atmosphere. So if you remember, Valentine's Day was a friendship thing that you couldn't bring your lover. You're not allowed to come with only adults to this game. You have to bring kids too, because it's a family atmosphere. So, I don't think there's any crazy ticket deals out there, but I'm sure tickets will be available, as Liz alluded to. Probably not going to be the most attended game this season, but I'll be there. I make a lot of noise. Sometimes on the broadcast, you literally only hear me. Okay. So don't talk to me about support, except for one game in May that I'm not going to be able to make it to.
A slight tangent. somebody said they were listening to the Jacksonville game, and it was so quiet you could hear the players talking on the men's
I
side.
like that.
That's very funny to me.
Yeah, that's wild. Wait, Jacksonville like has a lot of people though.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Because Dallas is quiet because there's like 10 people in a stadium that holds 90,000 people.
Still hear the drums though.
You could still hear the drums. They're in a good spot. I like where their supporters group kind of is on the.
Yeah, shout out to the the unstabled. I love them.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's fire.
Yeah.
So for context on this game, I did just do like the standings recap, but just as a refresher, we are playing Carolina Ascent. I don't even know if I said that yet. I just started ranting about Easter. And Carolina is third in the standings on 33 points, and they are trying to be right now that third team. They did beat us less than a month ago. And it was only 1-0, so it was close. And like I said, I think our team has matured and progressed into this new system that seems to be working well. So I'm certainly encouraged. I'm definitely feeling optimistic is a word that literally couldn't come to me for like multiple seconds there. I'm feeling optimistic about it. We helped them though in this past game separate themselves from Dallas because Dallas is fourth and was chasing them. And if Dallas got those 3 points, they would have been 1 point behind. Dallas wouldn't have passed them, but we didn't let them get any points. So if we could do the same to Carolina, again, that makes it that little bit easier for us to get into those points that makes a difference for the playoffs. So yeah, that's I'm feeling very hopeful. And Carolina's last meeting was against Fluted, and they drew. How are you going to draw Fort Lauderdale? Look, if they drew Fort Lauderdale, we got to beat them.
And it was only a PK. They didn't score an open play.
That's not a real goal.
I know. Like, come on, Carolina. Fluted can score an open play and you can't.
They did the same thing that maybe DC and Dallas did. They're like, last place is rolling into town. Second to last place is rolling into town. And then they didn't try hard enough. So I don't know. I hope Carolina hasn't been paying close attention to us. They're like, last time we beat them and we'll do it again. No problem. And they don't take any notes and they don't look at what we're doing currently. Mm-hmm. Who should we look out?
Philip Poole has an aneurysm and is no longer coach of the year.
Wild. Who should we look out for over there?
So not a lot has changed player-wise. Obviously, it's only been a month. Jill Aguilera still has the most chances created in the league. Overall, Carolina is second for clean sheets between McClelland and Martinez. They have 7 between the two of them. They're right behind, I believe, Kat Asman at Lexington, who is currently holding another shutout against DC. Riley Baisden, again, has the most shots, no assists. The Carolina's a weird one. They're a little bit like us almost, where they have like a sprinkling of a bunch of goal scorers. Their top one, I think, is Riley Baisden, who is still tied with Maddie Mercado, who has been in the NWSL since October. Yeah. So, and doing quite well there. Like, shout out to Seattle. Like, she is doing so well in Seattle. I noticed that the other day. I think she got a goal. But the fact that it makes it a little bit harder because you really have to make sure that we're marking everyone. But we've been doing that rather well. I cautiously optimistic about this match.
Do you change any of our lineup from the last 2 games, or do we go in with the exact same? Is it a short turnaround? Yeah, Tuesday to Sunday is technically a shorter turnaround.
It's less than a week.
So, I don't know.
I mean, I'm hesitant to make any changes. It's working, and even if we do need to make a sub at halftime, like we did again, like here we subbed in Parsons for Gaillard. We'll get there. To make us a little more attacking minded, and maybe provide a little more hold up play. That was pretty good. So I'm hesitant to say we need to make any changes. Obviously that's DSB, and she's nailed it twice in a row. So
yeah,
don't worry
I feel
about
the same
the
way.
other 22 times.
Well, I think the only change I could see us making is that Gaillard change. She's the only player that I feel like didn't necessarily contribute meaningfully, because if I'm looking at Weber, Picorni, Listro, like they're on the score sheet in the last 2 games. So like
Yeah.
players like that, I don't want to move. Nacello is always involved, but notably has not been on the score sheet in 2 games. So that's an interesting idea, but also really scary to think that we wouldn't start Nacello. And I don't think it would. I think she would like beat somebody up. So I don't think we would do that. My hope is that she just contributes. You know, if this game is the one that Picorni, Weber, they're not finding contributions, Nacello fills that in. Nacello hat trick. Fine. Do it. You know, prove that you should still start every game, which obviously you probably do every game anyways. So yeah, I don't know if there is like any reason for like short, it's not a short rest, but it's like it is shorter than a week. If there's any reason, that would be the only reason. I think the team with their performance against Dallas earned this team again, you know, this lineup again, but we'll see. Yeah, I was about to ask that as you type so covertly in our doc.
Yeah, very very covertly as my mic is
like,
in my way, so I'm turning
the
my
P
head.
keys there. Okay, well, I'll just say mine then to lead for score predictions. I think 2-0 to the Tampa Bay Sun.
Okay.
I don't think we let them score. They only scored once on us last game, and we are feeling good. And you might call me crazy, but I think we're like an okay team now.
Okay.
And so I would love to see us do that. And we do have bogey games in us. We do have just like totally crap performances every once in a while. So I'm like hoping this is not one of those, but you know, that's I put it out there. I genuinely, the last 2 games, the DC game for sure, I think I predicted a win and I was like, we're losing that shit. This game, I could give you a dissertation about why I believe we could win this game.
I got a 2-1 win. I think they might sneak one in on us. Maybe we don't quite keep a clean sheet for one reason or another. They are a well-drilled team, and they are fairly consistent. Also, Riley Parker just had her birthday, and she's going to want a birthday goal.
No.
Yeah, I agree. No. Deny.
Eureka just messaged in our chat. Super producer Eureka says a 1-1 draw, middle of the road, no heart or soul. I get it. I see you, bro. That's fine. I will say the possibility of a 2-0 win or a 2-1 win even is lineup dependent. I mean, if we rotate the lineup a lot, I think bad things have the potential of happening. So I hope that we maintain some consistency, although I think the system can work even with some players switched out. So if there are some, I'm not remembering the word, fitness related. Sorry, if there's fitness related need to change the lineup, then so be it. I think Hendricks could slot in with how we have been doing, as long as we like keep the same, structure that we've been doing. I just think she wasn't very effective in the 3-back we were trying primarily with her. So
yes, I think a 4-back is a little more suited.
It's for her. It's more her speed.
Yeah.
So yeah, that could be, if we do need to get a defender rotated out, we have Shimkin that could come in for Gaillard. So I see the options there. I definitely, there's plug and play in a couple different spots. And I hope that even if we have to rotate it a little bit, we can find the winning combination. How's Tosh Flint doing over at Denver?
She scored a goal.
And it was like their 60,000 people home opener.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
So that's cool. I saved that for the end of the episode.
She also got a when playing it out the back goes wrong goal.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it was so cheeky. I loved it. If that didn't capture the hearts of every Dallas fan, I don't know what will.
Yeah.
Because that's exactly what captured my heart for Leon Sanderson when she did it for Orlando. It was one of those like real quick ones, or she wasn't even playing it out the back. It was just like she took a set piece so fast that the other team didn't realize it.
Yeah.
And scored a goal. It was beautiful.
Yeah. I love when you feel like you're understanding soccer when you start watching and then they surprise you with the random BS that happens at every few games. So McNeil did that. I would say McNeil's goal against Dallas is one of those. I enjoyed just a defender just making the run through, and not even like a wing back making the run up the wing. She like ran through the middle of the field on that.
Yeah, she started at half field. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that is 2 games recapped, 1 game previewed, 1 cat shared.
She just jumped into my lap. Kitty!
She literally just ran over here. It was like she
Hi,
knew.
Mona.
I have a new mic set up the way I've been doing my mic, so there's not as much room for her in front, but she will find mic setup.
Oh.
There you go.
Mona.
So, well, we really got it. We really did the RBLR like full
We got
game
everything.
recap, game preview.
We got a kitty.
Cats. That is also posting cats in. Oh, you're typing in the doc now.
Oh, because she's sitting on my keyboard.
We did actually. This is another Discord. I'm going to shout out the Discord 3 times in one episode. We were posting cat pics in there. So even if you're like not, you ended up on this podcast just as something to do while you're working, you don't even watch soccer or whatever. But if you like cats, we're the USL or the the Heatwave Discord is the place to be. So tap in because every time we scored a goal against Dallas on Tuesday night, we were posting cat pictures, which was very cute, and everybody had cat pictures. It was like 15 pictures in there. So shout out the Heatwave, shout out the Heatwave Discord. Liz, where can people find us online?
You can find us and see our beautiful faces and adorable kittens at RBLR Sports on the YouTube. And I just got an itchy shoulder. Sorry. Beautiful kittens. We have Mona. We have Izzy. And you can find us at our respective thingies on the bottom. I'm on Blue Sky as Lizzie the Lion. JD is on Twitter as Mom Says I'm Ultra. You can find all the other fun Sun stuff, announcements, anything Sun related at RBLR Sun FC on all the socials listed up there. And you can check out our merch at shop.rblrsports.com. Look, I remembered. Use code HEATWAVE for 10% off.
Perfect.
Nailed it.
All right. Well, see you at the game Sunday, everybody.
Yeah. Happy Easter. Come to the game.
Please ditch your family.
Yeah.
Where your family?
Yeah.
Come spend Easter with your real family.
Thank you for tuning into this presentation by RBLR Sports. On your way out of the stadium, please remember to like and subscribe.